girls, what's the most positive signal in a guy?
Compassion, especially towards animals and children.
At 11 years old, I was actually just thinking about this while watching Jurassic Park. Here's Dr. Grant, who does not want kids, does not like kids, and is somewhere between confused and alarmed by their presence. But he is thrust into a situation where he is the sole adult in charge of 2 kids he just met, and without hesitation he puts his life on the line for them, rescues them, consoles them, encourages them, and even plays a little dad prank on them, the electric fence. And he doesn't do it to impress anyone, they're the only humans around once they go over the wall by the T-Rex paddock. He just sees that they're in danger and scared, and his heart goes out to them. It's funny, in the book Grant likes kids a lot. He loves kids and being around kids. In the movie it was changed to him hating kids at the beginning. Clearly Spielberg saw the potential for more of an arc there. Kinda me. I personally don't want kids. It's mostly because I dealt with really big trouble with anxiety that I never got fully wrapped up until my mid-20s. Medication never did much, nor did talking to others, and there were years that I just spent crying every moment outside of school/work. I do not want to pass that on. Sure, it makes dating horrible and I get lonely cause it's pretty rare that women want 0 kids. Some say they don't and change their mind when the baby boom happens in their friend group. Happened to me twice. I do love other people's kids though. I just know my parents couldn't afford treatments for me, and I don't want to pass this along. Mom, grandmother, and that whole side of the family had like 50% plus taking one's own life rates before the age of 30.
One thing I really liked about my husband when we first started dating was his emotional intelligence and how much emotional labor he put into maintaining his relationships. He often called his mom and younger siblings just to see how they were doing. He scheduled hangouts with his friends, talked to them daily, gave them emotional support when they went through hard times. He sent birthday gifts to everyone, even if it was sometimes just a digital gift card on the day of. And of course, he's always been very doting on me. He's now a super engaged dad, and I'm really glad that our son has a positive male role model like him. Yes, 2 green flags for my husband similar to yours. His strong friend group. They all genuinely enjoy being friends. They check in on each other, plan activities together, and text/call often. His close, emotionally healthy relationship with his family. He's the oldest of 4 kids and his 3 younger siblings are all girls. His family is really, really kind. It could have been really hard to be the woman who married into that family, but his sisters have been great from the start.
Sometimes these things are just out of your control. I don't have very many friends, but it's not for lack of trying. At some point, you just become tired of being the person making all the effort to make plans, text or call people up, and you kind of give up and realize they don't make any effort in return. Then, with the family thing, you don't choose who your family is. I was really close with my parents, but after I lost them, certain family members were just awful and there's no choice other than to cut them out. It sucks if people think it's a red flag, but there's only so much patience I have for dealing with narcissistic people.
Someone who has contingency plans for a number of situations. Also someone who can keep chill in the direst situations. I never comment, but I've got one. 20 years ago, my boyfriend and I were eating in a Bavarian-style sausage house. They offered a, now discontinued, sausage buffet. Just an absurd amount of different sausages and spätzle and sauerkraut and applesauce, blah blah blah. The table next to us ordered the buffet. We all did, literally everyone ordered the buffet, and they seemed like a nice regular couple. However, after eating a couple plates worth of food, they each went back to the buffet and loaded up their plates. And I mean, loaded their plates. Then they called the waitress over and asked for the check and to-go boxes. Of course, they were denied. They complained, the manager came, denied them again. They paid the bill and left, bitching mightily. The restaurant is always busy. The hostess seated the next guy before the book was picked up. He casually picked up the book and saw that the previous couple had not only given no tip, but left a shitty note. With zero hesitation, he pulled out his wallet and stuck a 20 in there and took the paper with the writing. The waitress came, he gave her the book with no comment, then ordered a beer and the buffet. A couple of minutes later, his girlfriend or wife, and I think her mom, came and joined him. I don't think he mentioned it at all. At least not while I was being nosy. My husband and I call him the righteous mother. My dad used to brush the snow off my mom's car and heat it up for her before she gets in.
I do this for my girlfriend, but I also fart right before I leave the car, so, chaotic neutral I guess. She keeps me around for some reason.
Honesty. Like, even when it is a hard truth, he still tells you. You can have all of the communication in the world, but that means nothing if he isn't honest.
Can you give me an example off the top of your head? That's random but like realistic.
If you do something that makes him uncomfortable, he is honest about it and tells you that it makes him uncomfortable and would like you to stop. Or, imagine you bring up an idea of something you could do together, but he wouldn't enjoy it, and he is honest about that so that you two can compromise. For me, I love it when a guy can take himself not so seriously, I guess. When he can be goofy with me, when he can do embarrassing things with confidence, when he'll let himself try new, possibly scary things without pushback. I don't want to force him to do things he's uncomfortable with, but I see it as kind of a red flag when you suggest he tries something and you're immediately shot down, even though he's never tried it before. Like a new food, or a cute little game of skill, or a physical challenge I saw in a video or something.
Yeah, my wife says the same thing actually, since she herself is more of the shy, easily embarrassed type, and I'm the total opposite. Once had to go on stage dressed as a goat and sing in Mandarin for CNY TV in front of a few thousand people. Once you've done shit like that a few times, you basically unlock total immunity to shame. I have zero problem looking like an absolute tool these days.
My man gave me multiple orgasms, cuddled me, then got up, kissed me on the forehead, and went and did the dishes. I can't imagine a bigger green flag. It stands out in my mind because I was seriously in disbelief when it happened, which really goes to show you how even the smallest, most basic of efforts can make good guys seem like white knights to women. So many of us are used to below bare minimum treatment. I myself am with my current partner after I got out of an abusive marriage, so maybe that's why I was so surprised. Someone who isn't constantly conscious of their masculinity or what their friends think. Effort. A guy who will put forth effort to see you, make you feel special, and show interest in you as a whole person is a green flag. I dated assholes and users for a while before I met my boyfriend, and the difference is night and day. The other guys would frequently cancel plans with me or just ghost me altogether and could barely pretend to give a shit about anything I said or cared about. I always felt like I was giving interviews to them when we would talk because they just talk about themselves non-stop and want to be praised for it. My boyfriend lived 2 hours away from me when we first started dating, and I was so scared that that meant he wouldn't even bother. When he drove to me every weekend as soon as work was done, I was floored. The third weekend he came to see me, I was really sick with the flu, and he brought me a care package with medicine and sleepy tea and candy. We've been together over a year now and living together for 6 months, and I couldn't be happier. He talks to his cat like it's a baby. Genuinely pays attention to what I care about and does things that reflect this. This applies to politics, hobbies, sex, household stuff, across the board, and it is awesome. How they treat people, like people in the service industry, when they get no real benefit out of it for themselves. Personally think that's the greenest flag there is for anybody. Says a lot about a person's individual character. It's easy to be an asshole. In addition to it being an excellent stress relief, it's difficult to be nice and understanding when everything isn't going perfectly. Speaks with respect of ex-relationships. Actually participates in practically planning out a future together. Doesn't just make non-committed and unrealistic promises that he can't keep. Has a sense of what he wants and doesn't want in the future and is able to talk with you about it to figure out if we're compatible. Little moments of protection. Moves you to the inner side of the sidewalk. Holds your hand in crowded places, adjusts his body position so you're not blinded by the sun, waits until you go in somewhere safely before taking off, stuff like that. A love of animals, natural gentleness and empathy for weaker/smaller creatures. Short anecdote, I had a very neurotic but sweet cat when I met my husband. My cat bonded to him and liked him almost immediately. Obviously, I married the guy, 12 years later still going strong. Unafraid of appearing feminine or anything other than stereotypically masculine. Bonus points if he indulges in things stereotyped as female, e.g. knitting, baking, manicures, drinking fruity cocktails. Also, caretaking, taking good care of loved ones, pets, and plants. Male nurses are hot.
And well, friends, that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know with a thumbs up so that YouTube can share these stories with more people. Remember to hit the bell icon to be the first to know when we upload a new video. See you next time.